You're listening to the How to Talk to Girls podcast, where you'll learn step-by-step how to meet and seduce beautiful women, whether you're looking for one night of fun, a week-long fling, or a long-term relationship. I'm your host, Trip, and the episode starts now. Hello and welcome to another episode of the How to Talk to Girls podcast. I'm your host, Trip Kramer from tripadvice.com. Today we have an interview with Miss Sarah Rose. Sarah Rose is a men's sex coach from tantricactivation.com. You might be asking, Trip, wow, there's a lot of sex advice content that you're putting out lately, not only on the podcast, but on the YouTube channel as well. And I feel like, I've been working with so many guys and putting out so many episodes of podcasts that you guys are getting results. You're getting to the point where you're getting over your fears, your shyness. You're able to go on multiple dates, and now you want to take it to that next level, and I want to offer that information to you. What's the next level? The next level is you being able to have an amazing sexual experience and have fun in the bedroom. So what better than to have a tantric sex coach here talking to you about that today? Without further ado, here's my interview with Miss Sarah Rose. Hi, Sarah. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm so glad to be here.
Yes, I'm happy to have you here. I think this is going to be a fun little chat, something new that I've never really heard about before. And I'm just really pumped that you can be here and tell us about what you do and how it all works and give guys some good tips here. So thanks for doing it. And let's just dive right in. Tell us a little bit about you and how you got into this.
Okay, yeah. So I am a men's sex coach. I'm the founder of Tantric Activation, and it's a company that is just really designed to help guys be better in bed. And I use tantric practices to help them get there. But I'm like very pragmatic, very practical, down to earth. And, it's just like where dudes can just be dudes and learn how to get really good in bed. And it's not about try out this position or that position. They can read like Men's Health or something for that. So it's more about like the personal development component of it, like the tantric practices, and really helping them to understand their sexuality in a new way.
So when you say tantric, what does that mean exactly?
So tantric is kind of like when you say, what does music mean? It's like can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It's like, the notes, but the way the notes are combined, they are going to create a different sound, different styles and all of that. And Tantra is similar. There are a lot of different styles of it. To every person is going to mean something a little bit different. Tantra originally came out of India about 5,000 years ago. Yoga is actually a part of Tantra. So similar tradition, same tradition, but yoga is just a smaller part of it. In the West, we typically use the practices to help enhance us sexually. So it brings the sexual energy to other parts of the body. So that way you can have orgasms in all parts of the body. You can have orgasms that are more intense, that last longer. You can connect more deeply with your partner, satisfy each other better, that type of thing.
Got it. Okay, got it. Very cool. So then when guys come to you for help, what are their biggest questions? Like, what are they coming to you for?
So most of the time, guys come to me because there's some sort of challenge that they have that is really a pain point for them. So if they are struggling because they have premature ejaculation, or they experience erectile dysfunction, or delayed ejaculation, or porn addiction, relationship issues, things like that, most of the time people search out help because they're in pain. So a lot of guys come to me for those types of things. But then also, this is really for all guys, like even guys that aren't experiencing any challenges, any type of dysfunction. They just feel like, I want to be a master in bed. I want to be the best lover she's ever had. Those guys come to me as well. So it's something that all guys can benefit from.
Cool. Okay, cool. Awesome. So then you were saying something about how this is related to making money. How is that all related?
Yeah. So our sexual energy is really, really powerful. So think about it. It's the energy that creates new life, right? It's like arguably the most powerful energy that exists on the planet. Like it's what our species comes from is this energy. And so clearly we're not using all of this energy, sexual energy that we have to create new life. And so there are other ways that we can use it because sexual energy is also creative energy. And creative energy, you can use that energy to birth new projects, to birth inspiration in your life, to, give you that burst of energy that you need to do the things in life that you really want to do. So learning how to channel this energy is really helpful in living just a full-bodied, empowered life, right? So sexual confidence shows up when you are actually a master of your sexuality. For most people, especially guys, when they're really turned on, they're really horny, they're being led by their cocks rather than them being in charge of what's going on down there, right? So they just feel it. It's this testosterone drive. And they're just like, oh my God, like I've got to fuck, they like have this burning desire, I've got to masturbate, something like that. And so learning Tantra helps guys learn to master their sexual energy so that way they can use it in other areas of their lives. So one area of their life they can use it in is in regards to making money. So there's a couple ways that this impacts you because first off, just having sexual confidence is something that people notice. They can feel it in someone else. They can, it shows up as just like this person who's charismatic oftentimes, like it has just a bigger energy and it's something that is attractive. And so people that have this tend to make more money because they've got this drive, they've got this charisma about them, they've got this way of carrying themselves with this confidence. And Napoleon Hill talks a lot about that in Think and Grow Rich. And I love that book. It's chapter 11, The Mystery of Sex Transmutation. He talks about this. But how do you actually transmute this energy? There's a practice that I teach that's called sex magic. So that is kind of the way that we go about it.
Interesting. Okay. Do you think you have any tips for guys right now in terms of, you said like how to harness this sexual energy so they have more drive and things like that, more passion?
Yeah, so absolutely. I mean, one of the things when it comes to money in particular is that many of us have limitations around what we feel we are worthy of making, or what we deserve to make, the type amount of money we deserve to make. We have ties to our family, loyalty to our family that often prevents us from making more money than what we grew up with or what our family makes or even the people around us. Because if we make more money than them, then we could somehow no longer be a part of that tribe, right? And so all of this comes from the primal brain, the unconscious part of our brain. That's really the part of our brain that's driving us in our day-to-day decisions. So even if in our cortex, we're having these thoughts of, oh, I want to make $1 million this year. Yeah, that's be amazing. I'm going to make $1 million. I'm going to write it on my, my board or whatever. If in your primal brain, there's still these thought patterns, you're going to constantly self-sabotage. You won't be able to move into where you really want to be. So one of the things that I do with guys is work with them around their limitations, helping them to bring to consciousness these limitations that they have. And then after we find their money limitations, then we counter it with a money accelerator. So like a money accelerator is going to be something like seeing that part of you that had been holding you back, limiting it, and just really fully loving it, seeing it for what it is, feeling it inside the body. We do practices to help clear it, and then doing some things which kind of sound funny, but they actually really work.
That's okay. We can handle it. Let's
Yeah.
hear what you got.
You can take like money, as much money as you can, spread it all over your bed, have orgasms on top of it, You can do ecstatic dancing, get naked, touch your body, just being super charged up, like be really happy, excited about the amount of money that you want to make. So it's things like that that are like transforming your relationship to money. But the biggest one is going to be sex magic. And so, sex magic, you actually use visualization to visualize what it is that you're desiring in five senses reality, like fully visualizing it. And there's a whole practice that I lead guys through around this. But the idea of it is that at the moment of orgasm, in which all of everything is on board, your entire body is on board at that moment of orgasm, is a great time to imprint into your brain new things. And this is another reason why I talk to guys about how important it is that what they're thinking about when they masturbate, when they have sex is important, because that's a very sensitive time where you really are imprinting patterns into your brain. So unfortunately, many guys have some sort of shame or guilt around masturbation, or they're maybe watching something that they don't necessarily want imprinted in their brain. And those things they do, like those patterns get formed. And so if instead using the time of orgasm to imprint these patterns of creating wealth for yourself, then you can really accelerate your ability to do that. I actually have a private client who, it was amazing. We did this practice and he took it to heart, and he's really saw where he had been limiting himself and sabotaging himself. And he did the practice like really hardcore, went for it, was very serious about it. And he's already, let's see, less than 2 months, he already has the new job that he wanted to get. So it's really awesome to see,
Wow.
it happen. Yeah.
What is something that a guy can do today? What do you think is your best tip in terms of just he's getting off of this podcast, he's going home, and he can do something right away, kind of like a step-by-step thing someone can do to tap into this?
I would say the first thing is to begin to really be aware of your thoughts when you're masturbating, when you're having sex, especially when you're having orgasms. So start to be aware of that and notice what you want to be thinking about instead. And just having that awareness will go a long way.
Okay, cool. What else?
So the other thing would be to start noticing if you have limitations around making money, and they can actually close their eyes, scan their body as they're imagining having the amount of wealth that they desire to have, and scan their bodies and notice if there's a place in their body where they feel any type of contraction, if there's any tension that happens, and then investigating that. Like if there's a contraction in their stomach when they think about that, start to notice, asking themselves, what am I afraid of? What am I anxious of? Really investigate and find what the root of it is.
Do you find that when you're working with clients that it's difficult for them to do that?
It can be difficult, but
Where are the challenges that you see that guys have?
so the challenges are learning how to really stay with the sensations in the body, because the sensations in the body are where the keys are. Like this is where where you're going to be able to find the investigate, the investigation points, I guess is the best way to put that. But often they'll get lost in the story, right? So we, as humans, our stories, we go on and on and on about our stories, but the stories just keep us distracted. They keep us in the past, they keep us in the future, or put us in the future. But like being present, being here right now, that's in the sensations in the body. And that's also how we get deeper into the primal brain, which is where we want to be. And so I do breathwork practices with guys to help them soften the cortex, and that way they can get deeper into the sensations in their body. But often that is the hardest thing. But I've really, after because we do 6 months of coaching together. And so it will take, some time, the first few times of practicing it to start to notice it because it's like learning a new language. It's not something that we typically do. So after they've learned it, then it's like, oh, okay, I get it. And they're able to do it a lot more easily. The practices come more quickly to them and they don't have as many challenges at that point.
Cool. So let's connect this now a little bit back to sex because now I feel like we're connecting it to money. But how can we connect this concept in terms of guys being better lovers in the bedroom? Like, how does that all connect? How does that all work?
So, sex magic, I use this practice also for guys, helping them to fulfill their sexual desires. So, we check in to see where they're at as far as sexual thriving goes in their life on a scale of 1 to 10, where they feel like they are. And then we'll use sex magic practices to help them realize and fully embody being at a level 10, of fully thriving. And so oftentimes, if our brain doesn't believe something's possible, if it doesn't believe that it's survivable, then it's not going to allow us to create that in our life because biologically we're only here for survival and procreation. And so if we've done something, a million times, then our brain knows, okay, that's cool. We can survive that. Oh, you've survived that breakup? All right, no problem. We know you can survive a breakup, right? But can you survive a long-term relationship? Okay, so you've survived failing sexually over and over and over again. Okay, that's cool. We know you can survive that. Can you survive actually satisfying her? I don't know if you can, and so it's showing the brain because the brain doesn't differentiate between like the fantasy, the visualization of it and what's actually happening in real life. It's like with athletes, right? When they're visualizing the shot, like making the shot over and over and over, and they really train their brain to see that happening so that way their body follows through and creates it. Sex magic is very similar to that. It's using that same similar technique.
Yeah, I've heard that visualizations can be really powerful. One thing that I try to teach guys in terms of getting over their shyness with women is to visualize going up to a woman and doing an approach and talking to her and just imagining it going it the exact way that they want it to go. And so that they sit down and they really imagine all the different senses that are happening in the moment. Like you sit down, you close your eyes, and you imagine every single sense that's happening in this little story that you're creating in your head of you going over, talking to a woman and it going successfully or going however you would want it to go. And that visualization helps a lot because, well, first of all, it puts you into at least a positive mind state. 'Cause a lot of guys that get really freaked out and anxious because they're only imagining the negative thing that's happening. And so that helps. And then also just being able to step into this idea of it going well. So you're almost kind of practicing in your head in a sense, so it's a really cool process that you could do is visualize what you want and specifically really in any situation, but just getting down to all the different details so that it works best for you. Would you say that that's kind of your thoughts on it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely part of it. And then, like, really feeling it too with all five of your senses. So rather than just seeing it, but also smelling, hearing, tasting, touching, the whole experience of it. Yeah. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of fun because you're visualizing the thing that you want, your positive outcome, right?
Yeah, and it's great because I've had one guy, he worked with me in private coaching and he did the whole practice at the beginning of the private coaching, kind of seeing where he was at as far as sexual thriving goes. And, he had his goal of where he wanted to be, of what his level 10 was. So he far surpassed that. And then he decided to come back and do the group coaching program with me. And at the beginning of the group coaching program, he did that as well. And he was like, oh my God, Sarah, I remember what my 10 was before. And my 10 this time is so much further than that. I had no idea that I could even possibly imagine to go where I want to go now at that point in my life. So it's really neat to see like how guys, they come in. I mean, I don't enjoy seeing guys coming in broken and devastated and everything in the way that they often do, but I love seeing how far they're able to go.
It's quite impressive when you actually put the work in, right?
Yeah, and that's really what it is. I mean, this particular client, he put the work in, like he really did a fantastic job. And I see that. It's just like with anything, you put the work in and you reap the results. And the guys that put the work in, they really do get the results of it. I do jujitsu as well. And so it's like Matt, what's the trick to getting your blue belt in jujitsu or getting your purple belt, getting your black belt in jujitsu? Showing up. Like, what do you have to do? You got to show up. All these people are like, Professor, what's the trick to being good? All these new white belts. You got to show up. Like, it's really as easy as that. Do the work.
Yeah, I think people underestimate the power of just showing up and doing the work. Things don't happen overnight. Anything you want to get good at takes time. But the good news is that's the formula. Just do the thing that you want over and over and over again. In this, example, it could be the practice with masturbation, or it could be the visualization technique. But doing it over and over and repeating over and over will eventually get you good at that. And of course, like I'm saying, with anything else that you're trying to do, there's no real secret here. It's just putting the work in and taking the time and making it a priority, right?
Right. And I mean, making sex and making money, what that those are having good sex and making money. Those are two really fun things to, spend your time and attention on. So why not?
Yeah, absolutely. What are the tips do you have that on the top of your head that you can share with us that you help guys with?
Well, I mean, I often get from guys like, what, seriously, you think you need to teach guys how to masturbate? Because the practices that I give them are masturbation practices. And I'm like, all right, I get it. You guys have been masturbating, since you can remember, and you've done it more times than you've will ever be able to count. You don't need me to teach you how to masturbate. But what I teach you is how to create new patterns in your brain through masturbation practices so that you can have the sex that you want to have. So you can really, experience sexuality in the fullness that's available to you. Because most people, they're like really just having such basic sex. I call it conventional sex. It's like, all right, fine, you want to have conventional sex, do it. But you're really missing out because sex can be so much more. So, yeah, as far as like tips go, definitely being more conscious during your masturbation practices, slowing down is important. Learning how to like really strengthening your PC muscle, that's an important practice. Like that's the foundation of sex right there. So, especially as guys age, the PC muscle weakens. If there's any type of premature ejaculation, then having that is especially crucial. So, strengthening the PC muscle in my program, Sex Stallion Training, it's a 7-week online course. And the first week of it is all about strengthening that muscle because it's literally is the foundation of all the other practices. And I guide them like step by step, like, okay, do this, now do this, now do this. So to find that muscle, you want it to, when you're peeing, stop your pee midstream. And the muscle that you squeeze to stop peeing, that's the PC muscle. So that's how you locate it. And then from there, you want to, just as often as you can throughout the day, be flexing that muscle, but then also reversing the flex and pushing out on the muscle as well. So that is the top number one practice to get good at.
Cool. And you said that helps with what again exactly?
I mean, it helps with all of the sexual practices, but it's going to help if guys are aging, if they have premature ejaculation. It's going to also help in sex stallion training, I teach the steps for separating orgasm from ejaculation. So that way they can orgasm without ejaculating. And so having that strong PC muscle is super important because orgasm and ejaculation are actually two separate things that occur. And so orgasm typically happens slightly before ejaculation. And whenever the PC muscle is strong enough, they can clench it and stop the ejaculation from happening, and then they can still orgasm. So that's why it's a very important practice.
Power move right there. That's a power move.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so that way they can have multiple orgasms and full body orgasms, move the sexual energy through their body, all that kind of thing.
Very nice. Very cool. Awesome. Well, Sarah, this has been really informative. I feel like even I learned some stuff that I've not heard before. So this is really great. And if guys want to work with you, just let us know again. What are the issues that guys come to you for and where can they find you?
Yeah. So, like I said, this is for all guys that want to be better in bed. Tantric sex is like full sexual mastery. It's so much more beyond like just basic conventional sex. So all guys that are interested in personal development, being amazing in bed, that are interested in, just this new sexual revolution that's happening, that you see people are like a lot more concerned about how sex feels rather than just having sex. So all those guys, I worked with guys with premature ejaculation, erectile dysfunction, porn addiction, delayed ejaculation, guys that are going through relationship challenges. So all of that is addressed in the different programs that I have. I also have Pussyology, which I didn't mention. Pussyology is a tutorial showing you the ins and the outs of pussy, how to stroke pussy, how to please pussy. So that's a fun one as well. And my website is tantricactivation.com. And on Instagram, it is also Tantric Activation. So you can find me there. If you're interested in martial arts at all, I have a jiu-jitsu page, which is kind of a funny one. And that's Sarah Rose Jiu-Jitsu. And Sarah has 2 R's, Sarrah. So
cool.
That's me.
Awesome. So you heard it here. If any of those seems to be an issue for you or you feel like you're interested in that, you can reach out to her. I'll put those links in the show notes. Sarah, you're awesome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for doing this interview, taking the time to share some of your knowledge with the guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. That was fun. I appreciate you.